really express what it was they didn't like about it.
After I won an Oscar, I knew I had to be careful. It was one of those moments that didn't feel real, like stepping into a dream that you never quite believed could be yours. I still remember standing there, in front of Robin Williams, Robert De Niro, and Geena Davis, as Jennifer Lopez read my name. And the Oscar goes to Anne Dudley, the full Monty. For a moment, I couldn't move. My heart stopped. The girl from Kent who grew up miles away from Hollywood was suddenly holding the most coveted trophy in the world. It felt surreal, like Cinderella crashing the royal ball. That year, Titanic was the giant that swept nearly every category, and our small film, The Full Monty, felt like the underdog no one expected to win. Yet there I was, walking to the stage in my silver gown by Anthony Price, realizing that maybe for one night, I could be that kind of person, the kind who wins an Oscar. But behind my calm smile, I was trembling inside. Later, when I watched the footage, I couldn't believe I looked so composed. Inside, I was pure shock and disbelief. Winning that Oscar changed everything, but it also came with a quiet warning. I knew I had to be careful not to be trapped by it. Hollywood loves to put people in boxes, and I didn't want to be labeled as the woman who writes comedy scores. So, I pivoted. I took on darker, more complex projects, exploring thrillers and dramas that pushed me beyond what I thought I could do. That journey eventually led me to Poldark, a series filled with heartbreak, betrayal, and resilience, the kind of emotions I could pour my soul into musically. I loved every minute of it because the music wasn't about standing out, it was about feeling right. I've always believed that the best film scores are the ones that disappear, not because they're forgettable, but because they become one with the story. That's why I've never been a fan of using modern pop songs in classical shows like Bridgerton. As clever as those arrangements are, I find them distracting. When I hear a Madonna or Pitbull melody, I can't help but think, wait, that's a pop track, and suddenly I'm out of the moment. True film music should never pull you away from the emotion, it should anchor you to it. Over the years, I've been blessed to work with incredible artists, Cher, George Michael, Jeff Beck, and even, in some strange roundabout way, the Spice Girls, though I never actually met them. People often imagine glamorous studio sessions with pop stars, but the truth is, I was usually working quietly behind the scenes, arranging strings, building layers, making the music shine. I'm not one to name drop. But I will say this, Jeff Beck was extraordinary, George Michael was one of the kindest and most talented musicians I've ever met, and losing them both still hurts. My path hasn't been easy, it's been built on hard work, long nights, and saying yes to opportunities even when they scared me. I was lucky to collaborate with Trevor Horn, and being part of the Lexicon of Love by ABC was a moment that helped shape modern pop music. But I never imagined all those small choices, all that persistence, would lead me to that night at the Oscars. Now, looking back, I realized that winning wasn't the finish line, it was the beginning of a new kind of responsibility. It opened doors, but it also forced me to protect what mattered most, the music. The honesty, the emotion. Fame is fleeting, but authenticity lasts forever. I've come to see my Oscar not as a symbol of glamour, but of grace. It reminds me where I came from, a girl from Kent who dreamed with her piano, and how far quiet determination can take you. And even now, decades later, every time I sit down to compose, I still ask myself the same question I did that night: can this piece make the story better? Because when great music meets great storytelling, something magical happens, something bigger than both. And maybe that's the real lesson behind all of it, that true success isn't in the noise or the fame, but in the quiet moments when your work speaks for itself. Backhand index pointing right. Do you think true artistry can still survive in a world obsessed with fame and attention?